funny story about Harrison real quick. When we was freshmen and sophomores, like nobody expected him to ever run track. Like he was the goofiest runner I've ever seen in my life. I swear to God. I commend the kid, but I don't want him to laugh at me. But he literally used to run like this. I swear to God.
No.
Good take. That's how he used to run. And so he made it a personal, thing. Like you think, man, this kid ain't, athlete. Well, come to find out, he actually ended up being the fastest 400-meter runner at our school our senior year, and he signed a track scholarship to run track at UC. So he knows a lot about hard work and dedication. He just published his first book. It's called I Used to Hate School. He's going to share some stuff about that with us, and some of his personal experience, some of his personal knowledge. Okay, so give me undivided attention. All right, be respectful. Okay, good on that.
Thank you, Chris. Coach Brooks, Chris Breezy. I just want to thank them. Can we get a round of applause? Chris, I've been watching them for the past, since we graduated from high school. I want to say it was 20-something years ago. And I've seen, not just watching him when I saw him play football, I've watched him and he grew, and I've grown as well. And, just seeing the progress that both of us have made over the past 20 years. I could imagine just looking around here and knowing how hard he worked. He was a pole vaulter, at Ellison. And how many of y'all went to Ellison or go to Ellison? Anybody go? Y'all like Ellison? Ellison, yeah, Ellison. Well, he was a pole vaulter at Ellison. He was a sprinter. He did everything. I think Chris did 6 events, every track meet, and he was probably the MVP of the track team. I couldn't tell you how we would have survived. I remember at our district meet. I don't know if you remember when we were going against Cole was one of the best teams. We were still fighting, trying to get that championship. And it was down to Chris. And Chris, we all bled, we all worked hard together. Just talking about being on a track team. It's an individual sport, but when you work together, you work hard in practice. It's something that is a collaborative event. I know if anybody here run track. So you know that when you're sitting in the stands and you're watching somebody running the 400 and you're cheering them on, because you watch them every day in practice, right? You see what they're going through. You see how hard they work to get to that position that they're at. You want to see them be successful. And so my kudos is to Chris because I watch him. I've watched him for the past several years. And I cheer him on just like he's been cheering me on. He's given me this great opportunity to stand before you all, humble. Because this is something that wasn't here 20 years ago. Something that wasn't here 5 years ago. To have this opportunity for you all, he has truly brought something to this community that's going to be a staple, and it's going to grow you all and help you all be a better person. So, one thing I wanted to talk about, normally, this is actually my first speech where I'm not in a suit. Most of my professional life I've been, does anybody know, guess what I do for a living? What do you think I do for a living? Business? Anything else? Yes, sir.
A life coach?
Life coach? That sounds good. I would love to do that. Does anything else? Okay, so I will tell you, does anybody used to be at Harker Heights High School? Harker Heights? Yeah, Harker Heights High School. I was an assistant principal at Harker Heights about 6 years ago. And then I went to be a principal of a high school in West Oso in Corpus Christi for a couple of years. And I went to be assistant principal in Austin ISD. And I was a principal in Kuwait, in the Middle East, which is normally a war zone. But this time it was a peace zone. So I went to be a high school principal there for several years. And then I came back now. I'm a professor at Grambling State University. Y'all what y'all know about Grambling State?
HBCU.
Yeah, HBCU. Anybody who want to go to an HBCU? What HBCU you want to go to? Fairview. That's good. Purple and gold. Actually, play with the. You don't know yet, but I'm gonna talk. I didn't go to an HBCU, so I'm gonna tell you some of the benefits of being at an HBCU. Everybody looks, for the majority, they look like you. My school I went to was the University of Texas at Austin, and I graduated from there in 2005 with a mathematics degree. There were 51,000 students in that school. 51,000 students in that school, 1,200 of them were black. Of that, most of the guys were athletes. Most of the guys were football athletes and the rest of them were girls. So if that's motivation to go to college, I don't know if that's what, but you understand, like, you want to go into, you know, you want to push yourself to a limit because we always are not invited everywhere to the table. We're not always invited to come to a school like University of Texas, but HBCU like Grambling, State, or Prairie View, they are very good for monitoring and helping their students and making sure they work hard. Okay, so like I said, I kind of went off to a tangent. Like I said, I'm wearing a hoodie and I'm wearing tennis shoes. So one of the reasons I'm doing this, and I decided to do this, and my sister, you know, she helped me out with this a lot, was that this is in honor of someone that is near and dear to my heart, Trayvon Martin. Have y'all heard of Trayvon Martin? What happened with Trayvon Martin? He got shot, right? By who did he get shot by? Was it the police? Does everybody remember that story? It was actually, he's very correct. Trayvon Martin was around 15, 16 years old. He went to the store, the corner store down the street from his dad's house to go get some Skittles and some iced tea. As he was walking back, he had his hoodie on, like this. He was walking back in the neighborhood and someone, yes sir? Well, that's kind of the story, but one of the things that they want to say is that he was dangerous because he was in a neighborhood that he wasn't supposed to be in. So a guy named George Zimmerman, he tackled him, they got into a fight, and he shot him, he killed him. Now, the big part of that story was that Trayvon Martin got killed, and they said that the man that killed him was standing his ground. And so they made it legal in a sense. Well, not talking about legal. So they had a trial, and all those things followed along, and everything happened with Trayvon. And you know, his family would go up and they would plead, you know, and talk about how much they cared about him. And eventually, you got to a point where you are at the end of the trial. The trial is here, and it's the trial for the man that killed him. And one of the things that stood before me, and I've been African American my whole life. I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to Harrison Jones and Lindy Jones, and I was born as a black man, but I never felt more African American, more black, than when I heard the verdict of not guilty for the killer of Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman had murdered that young man, and he got off with it, and got away with it. That's when I knew, as a teacher, because at that time I was a math teacher at Langham Creek High School. I said, as a teacher, all of my students were like Trayvon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. He was white. Yes, George Zimmerman. And what I look at is, when I look out amongst you all, I look at all my students that I've had in the high schools and the middle schools, and what I want to just convey to you all, that you guys are important. And you guys have the future ahead of you. And you guys have the opportunity, I think Coach said earlier, you're not going to get these things twice. You make one mistake, things can go down. You're not always going to be promised tomorrow, but I want you to take advantage of what you have today. Right now you have a facility, you have coaches, you have mentors, you have everything that we didn't have 20 years ago. I think if Chris would have had this, he'd probably been an all-state football player. I would have been all-American, track athlete. So y'all have these things now here in Killeen, and I want to give y'all something because I love y'all, first of all. I'm going to give y'all something if y'all want. In this bag, I have some Skittles. Anybody want Skittles? Come on and get them. Come on down, first bottle. Go ahead. All right. And I got some iced tea. Okay? I got 5 of these. All right. One more. All right, so. Okay, so now, one of the reasons I got that is because I want y'all to represent. The day after the trial, the verdict of the trial was given, I came into my classroom and I had a hoodie on and I had Skittles and iced tea. And I had that for the rest of the year. You understand? Because not only is he represented, Trayvon was wrongly murdered, but he represents all of us. We have a responsibility now. We've had a responsibility for a long time to represent, to uphold, to make being a higher standard for ourselves and for our families. We have an opportunity. I want y'all to embrace this opportunity to do so. So I'm going to give y'all some tools. Hopefully I can give y'all some tools today that will help y'all to push yourselves to that, past that limit or the limitations that you may have set forth in your mind. So let me talk about Big Chris mentioned my book. My book that I recently published was called I Used to Hate School. And the title is I Used to Hate School, 5 Principles for Success in Education. So I Used to Hate School is a book I wrote. It's based on my core beliefs. I believe that there is greatness in every staff, and greatness in every squad. I believe that there is genius in every student. Now notice I said there is genius in every student, not that every student is a genius. Okay? And I believe that there is joy in every subject. And furthermore, I believe that we can learn to love learning. That teachers, because I'm in education, teachers can get their students to learn to love learning. And how do we do that? And this is the reason why I wrote this book, because all of the things that are encompassed within this book, within this film, come back to one thing. And that's building positive relationships with your students, with your teachers, and showing what we call love. So every chapter of my book, every chapter out of that story has to do with a strategy with love, rigor with love, relationships with love, data, results with love, analysis, all those things with love, because at the end of the day, you have to love what you're doing. You have to find your passion for what you're doing and reconnect with who you truly are, and that's yourself, that's your why, that's your purpose. So when you find your purpose, you can go ahead and you go forward, and you can move forward with your why. So that being said, when you approach things like, what kind of sports do you have athletes? Give me an example.
All of that,
Football, track, basketball athletes, baseball, basketball. And one of the things that Chris was mentioning to me when he told me, he said that a lot of y'all want to play, anybody want to play at the college level? Anybody want to go to college and play? Okay, so one thing that Chris reminded me is that, hey, you know, what are they, let them know what it takes to get to the college level. So when I was at Ellison High School, I had a new coach. It was my last year there, my senior year. And one thing that I made sure I did as an athlete, you know, I set an alarm. My alarm was set, and Chris said we didn't know how I was going to be fast. Chris might not know this, my alarm was set at 4 o'clock every morning. I got up at 4 o'clock every morning, and I would come out and I would go to the track every morning. Practice. There wasn't a smack of daylight outside, and I was running around in the dark. You understand? Weight room, 4 o'clock every morning. All my teammates didn't know that. They probably, Chris might have found that out, but I was in the gym, I was at the track every morning. When I went to college, I decided that I was going to go to UT, and I went there, and I was determined to be the fastest quarter mile at UT, fastest 400-meter runner. When I got there, everybody at UT was this tall. I don't know if y'all know about UT receivers, right? Roy Williams, y'all know Roy Williams? He used to play for the Cowboys. So he was about 6'4", 6'5". I ran against him in high school. But anyways, he was about 6'4". So most of the guys there were tall, fast, super strength. So what do? You either say you're going to watch them be in front, or you're going to look at them from the back. So my determination was to always stay in the front, no matter what. So if we had an event, let's say we had to run in practice the 300-meter dash, I would stand there with all the tall people that were ready to run with me. I would stand there right next to them. The coach would say, ready, sit, there you go. And so, like you said, take it off. I don't know why he was saying instead of go. But you'll say take it off, so you start going. And I guarantee you, every single time, I was going to be out in the front. I don't care how long the race was. I don't care if I died out at the end. I was going to be out all the way in the front. And they was going to have to what? They was going to do what? They was going to have to come catch me. They were going to have to catch me. So I started off in the front. I'm blazing. The first couple times, I guarantee you, by the last 100 meters, I'm sucking it up doing Chris said, and I'm tightening up, and they're passing me up at the end. Okay, but guess what? Next time we lined up, got right there, boom, same thing. Bust on, that blast. I'm blasting off. They looking at me like, man, Harris is going, he's going. Like, just going. They're coming up to catch me. So guess what? They're getting better, right? Because they're calling me the rabbit. In my time, I'm getting better because I'm getting stronger every time I get out there. So eventually, I was always leading. And I led at the end. And I want to tell y'all, the reason I tell y'all that is because if you're finishing your race, and this is for the athletes in this situation, I just want y'all to finish your race. And I told this to my track team, I tell this to anybody in any event. If you finish your race and you're able to walk off like this, oh, that was tough, yeah. You ain't done nothing. You have not done anything. I mean, am I right, Coach? You haven't done nothing. You just ran and you've done exerted yourself enough to where you can go and sit back and chill in the stands and holler at your girl or whoever you decide to holler at. I'm not holding those anything. So now, you go running now, but if you're going across the line and you're feeling your body, like every pain was all through the body. You can't see straight. You're throwing up. You're exhausted. Your pain. I don't know if anybody's ever run 400, but it's a horribly ending. You're gonna feel like you've done died at the end. So if you feel that way at the end, hey, you giving it your 100% off. And guess what? You didn't die. You're alive still. So guess what? You can give more. So I would suggest, just from what if you're trying to get to that next level, and you're in that position, that you push yourself all the way through every single time. Don't ever give up and run through the line and just hurt. I mean, even if it feels like it. I know y'all still watch the NBA and y'all watch the NFL. Wondering why players still get hurt, right? Because they're giving their what? Every single time. They're giving 100% every single time. I can't tell you a player that gets hurt when they're just yanking around. Most of the time, if you're going to pull your hamstring, you're giving 100%. If you're going to tear your ACL, that's because you jumped way too high or you jumped way too far, right? So it's giving you 100% and you push yourself till you fail. So one thing I was telling Chris, I want to help y'all just get away from this mind where you're in your comfort zone, where you're just in a position where you're just comfortable with where you are. Because like I said with Chris when I was going through running and track, you could easily be cool with being in the back. My first time running track for the first 4 years, I mean, I was a skinny, lanky little, Steve Urkel had glasses that were about the size of, I don't know, huge glasses, like Mr. Magoo kind of glasses. They came around here, had a Garfield watch on. I mean, I was super lanky.
He was a nerd.
Yeah.
You don't want to say he was a nerd. He was a super nerd.
Super nerd. I'll be a super nerd. I love it. I mean, it was, but I'd come in, I'd run 2 mile and a mile, and I would come in dead last every single time. They'd clap me in, like, y'all seen the track me, but they clap me in. So I come in, I'd be like, then I come across the line, sit down, eat some chicken with my friend, and I'd be good to go for the rest of the day. So that was my comfort zone. I was cool with that. I was cool with coming in last. I was cool with chilling, eating chicken. At some point, something has to go in your mind. Something has to change in your heart. And something has to say, I need to be in the front. Something has to tell you that you need to be in the front. And so I'm going to encourage you all to expand your comfort zone. So I have 3 steps that you guys can do to just, say, well, I'm going to start and I'm going to expand my comfort zone. The first one is and I'm going to say this, the first one is to take the challenge. Whatever it is, whatever you see that might be difficult, whatever it is, I want you to take the challenge. Go in headstrong. Do something new. Do something you've never done. In basketball, if you've always, had trouble taking a three, make sure you shoot threes. You constantly take the challenge. Push yourself out of your comfort zone by first taking the challenge. Two is make sure that you take your time. This is important because we go to practice sometimes and we expect to go run, or we expect to go lift weights, we expect those things to change, we expect to get slow the next week, right? If we're in here in the gym, we won't expect to get slow, but how long does it take to get really slow? Does anybody know the real time? If you're going to have some real change, what do they see after 4 weeks? Do you see any change after 4 weeks? 4 weeks, that's when people are going to start seeing things. Around 8 weeks, after 8 weeks, that's when people are going to start saying, man, you've been in the gym, man, that's pretty nice. After 12 weeks, then you're going to be starting to see it yourself. 16 weeks, everybody's going to see it. So it takes time to get to that level where you've actually got that those changes that you want. So you got to be patient. So number three is to make sure that you trust yourself. Trust yourself when you fail. Trust yourself to never give up. Trust yourself to keep pushing. Just like I said, whenever you run, when I was running track on the track, I knew that if I ran all my heart and I got to the end, that I could get to the end, pass the line, lay down the track, and I was going to wake up the next day. I was going to wake up eventually, or I was going to just get a throw up, and I wasn't going to throw up everything out of my system. So I knew I could trust myself, my body, to make those changes that are necessary. When you push yourself, there's a physiological function in your mind that takes you to that next level, or it tells you can do something better. What we have in our mind is things that are keeping us, that are inhibitors, that are naturally there. Whenever you get something new, that's always going to tell you can't do it. I mean, how many of us, for the track runners, how many of us have gotten to the line and the coach say, all right, you got to get there at 27 or 26, and you're just like, oh, I can't do that. It's impossible. I can't do that. Has anybody ever felt that before? You just look at it immediately, right? Immediately you're going to say, well, I can't do this. This is too hard. I can't do it. But you just put all that negativity in your head automatically. Who was telling you that? Yourself. You were the first person that said that. Nobody said you can't do that. You were the first person that did that. So instead, when you get to the line and say, hey, I'm about to go 25. I'm about to smoke everybody. You trust yourself. Know that you can do it. Because the only time you're going to break a record, or the only time you're going to push yourself hard is when you know in your heart that you can do it and you make yourself do it. You always got to make sure that you trust yourself, know that you can make it through, and you go forward, and you're going to extend yourself and expand your comfort zone. And then after that, that's going to get easy. After that, it's going to be easy to run a 26 or a 24 over and over again. And then you got to push yourself hard. Stay out of that comfort zone. Stay out of it. Don't get complacent. You guys have everything you need. Coach here, all these coaches, I've heard the words that they're saying. I've heard the talking. They've got the best interests in heart. You're in a great place. I love the idea of men of valor. I respect each and every one of you gentlemen for being here on Friday night. Y'all could be at the crib playing Fortnite with my cousin, because my cousin plays Fortnite right now. So I respect y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you, Coach, for giving me the opportunity to come and talk to you. Are there any questions that y'all might have? Anything that I might be able to, I don't know if y'all have anything y'all might want to know. Anything y'all have questions?
What made you decide, like, I gotta get up, I gotta do this in order for me to get there? So, was your senior year that you decided to do that?
I would tell you, my decision to get better and to be the fastest and to do everything that I had to do was, one, scholarships. I wanted to get a scholarship. That was number one. But I also wanted to show that you can do it. That when you can prove something to yourself, because that's pretty much all you have anything to prove to. When you can prove something to yourself, that if you give yourself 100% every single time, and you can accomplish that, you can accomplish anything. I mean, we're here sitting here, and anything is possible. And I'm here to tell you that anything is possible. If you listen to any great superstar, Mike Jordan, MJ, Ali, They all say the same thing. Anything is possible. We have the guy that just passed away. I want to say Representative Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings, y'all know about Elijah Cummings? Y'all know he was a representative out of Baltimore, Maryland. He was one of the key instrumental parts to an impeachment inquiry for Donald Trump, president. But he was in a situation where he told a story where he was, him and his friends were trying to integrate the pool in his neighborhood in Baltimore. Back when they were segregated, that means that you can't go to the black pool or white pool. So he would walk there every day. They would try to get closer and closer to the pool, and then the people would be throwing stuff at him every single day. They throw cans, they throw rocks, they throw all these things at him, and they get a little bit further each day. And eventually they got to where they could integrate the pool. But then he noticed one day there was this white lady that kept throwing stuff at him, like a blonde white lady. He said she was tall, kind of lanky. And he asked someone after they integrated the pool, he said, "Who is that lady?" And she said, "Well, that's Calvin. She's a lawyer, district attorney for the school, for the area." And he said, "Well, you know what? From that point on, when he was a special ed student, he said he's 12 years old, he said he was going to be a lawyer. And look, he turned out to be United States representative in charge of the impeachment inquiry for the president." So, and the things that he said when he died, he said, "The reason I'm here is to show y'all that anything is possible. It's possible for you guys to be in the same situation to be running track against you, to be a principal, to be a coach, to be a lawyer, to be a doctor, to be the greatest thing that y'all can possible." So when you see us there and you have a vision for yourself, that's what makes you push it every day. That's what made me go, because you can see it. Your dreams are your reality. Change your dreams to make your dreams come true based off of what you want to accomplish. You want to know what? No, I just did the 400, the 200. I did the 4x1, the 4x2, and the 4x4. My fastest 400 ever was a 45.8. My 200 was a 20.9. But I wish I was a lot faster. The guys that I was running against in college was just like 44. We ran against David. We ran the David track. They were phenomenal. They would never see they had some crazy guys. Any other questions? All right, guys. Thank you all for this. I hope y'all have a great time. I'm hanging out with y'all.